Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, and I may or may not be quarantined at the Hatmobile.
Yep, we're both kind of there. I'm recovering from a sick, but I don't think it was the Wu flu. My symptoms are starting to go away after I did a good old fashioned sweat it out session, which was 3 hours of being covered in 3 layers plus 3 thick comforters. So I lost a little weight today, to say the least.
Ah,
But that's also the reason that we're doing this in the same format as last week, is because I am confined to the bedroom for now. So we need to talk, though, because we were talking about this before we got on here, and I need to kind of express some frustration. So let me say this, preface all of this with this statement. The reason that I am frustrated more than I usually am with this sort of thing is because I got caught in the same emotional nonsense with the whole thing with Dick Masterson and Doug TenNapel, and I ended up looking like a jackass because of it. And had I not apologized to Dick Masterson, my credibility would be shot. As a journalist, as a comic book writer, everything. People would have... It was literally something, had I not squashed it there, that could have broken some friendships that I have in CG. So this is what I want to say before we get into the details of this, guys. Anger and rage and falling for rage bait and letting your emotions get the best of you can literally destroy everything around you.
mm-hmm.
And not only can it destroy you, it can affect things for other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you consider yourself part of a movement, if you consider yourself part of the anti-SJW clique or whatever, if you start giving into this rage bait bullshit, that reflects on everyone else, whether you realize it or not. Actions have consequences. And what I'm frustrated about today is that I feel like I'm drowning in... I'm just in, or at least I'm in this sea of turbulence. And there's bullshit coming from both angles. There's bullshit from the right, and there's bullshit from the left. I did a video today talking about culture war clickbait. Basically saying that there was an article that went up on Game Rant that quoted the art director of the upcoming Resident Evil 3 remake, where he said that we didn't like the idea of going with the old Jill Valentine costume from the original Resident Evil 3 in this remake. We wanted to do something a little bit more practical, because they were focusing more on sex appeal at the time. He says nothing negative about sex appeal. He says he didn't agree with the decision. That's not saying anything negative about that. He said nothing negative about sex appeal. He said nothing negative about fans. Let me be clear about that. Zero things about you and the audience right now who are listening to this. He said nothing negative about you. If somebody else told you that he did, they lied to you. Period, point blank. This is not Dan Borden at NetherRealm all over again. Not even close. And I'm fired up already. And the reason I am fired up is because the only reason that people are having this bullshit reaction is because the lefties took what this guy said and they spun it. They spun it as trying to act like he's calling fans problematic, that he's saying that sex appeal is a bad thing, or so on and so forth. If sex appeal was a bad thing, Jill Valentine wouldn't be as pretty as she is. She would be flat as a fucking board. She is not. She got a big old butt and some big old boobs. Well, for a woman who's as athletic as she is. Like, you look at her side profile and it's ridiculous. But that spin was reacted to, not thought about, not read by, reacted to places like Bounding Into Comics, The Quartering, One Angry Gamer, and so on and so forth, and all we got were reactions that did not have one fucking iota of intelligence added to them. Not one. Nothing analytical, nothing logical, just anger at somebody else's spin. They took the bait and ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something that you guys need to understand. Not all SJWs are idiots. Some of them are a lot more smart than you would give them credit for, and they are always planning. We said this years ago when Trump won the election. The way that social justice warriors act is this. They lose. And when they lose big. Because they overcommit themselves all the time. But you know what they do? They go home, they cry, and they plot how to destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know how they know they're going to possibly get the culture war back in their hands? By using the emotions of everybody that they consider to be right-wing against them. They know that their language, their terminologies, and things like that, and the way that they act pisses us off. So do you know what they do? They use that. Again, these people are not as dumb as you think they are. They do some dumb things. They believe in some dumb shit. But some of these people know what they're doing. Some of these people think. It's hard to believe, I know, but these people know how to survive. And that's something that a lot of people really don't understand, because honestly, people who aren't on the left, or the far left even, get complacent. That's their biggest weakness. So whenever something like this happens, it blindsides them, they get angry, they don't think, and then that lack of logic is used by the opposing side to paint a giant picture of people who really just want sanity restored, and I understand the motivations. Really just want sanity restored in the world. They use that to try to paint everybody with a paintbrush, and you're giving them that paintbrush. We say all the time that the culture war is two people sitting at a table with guns and ammo. Each person has the other person's ammunition type. The goal is to get the other person to slide that ammo across. So when you go into comments sections or on Twitter or anywhere else saying that, oh, the art director of Capcom, he hates fans and he hates sexy stuff and blah, 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 and all this other nonsense, well, that's obviously not true. Who looks bad there? It's not the art director. And oddly enough, you end up being just as much of a liar as the yellow journalist who peddled the first narrative, the one you fell for.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, guys, there is a war on sexiness in video games. Absolutely. The journalists out there, they don't like characters that look sexy. And the only time that they will give a character a free pass is if they are LGBT, such as Tracer from Overwatch. Probably the single most cosplayed character from a shooter I can think of is probably Tracer. Because it's a character that, like 2B, that in the cosplay community, everybody immediately thinks, I have a nice ass, this is who I'm cosplaying as. And it's true. It's true. That's what you see all the time. So, it reminded me, Hatman brought this up, the supposed Tifa controversy, where people said that they downsized her breasts. Mm-hmm. No, they didn't. She turns to the side, you see she's got very large boobs. The difference is that they're using a realistic art style, so they're not going to look like these giant circles that are attached to her chest like they would be in PlayStation 1 graphics. Her build is identical to what it was in Advent Children, and she had big boobs there too. Every time she turned to the side, you would see it. And this is where we're at. Putting on a sports bra or putting on jeans does not mean that there is a war on sexy at all. What the evidence for it are the journalists out there that want these people basically in burqas. Or want these characters, I should say. In the industry, the Japanese largely don't care. They make the decision that they think is right for the project. They don't really listen to the American press as much as people would like to think that they do. The only Japanese developer I can think of that has given in to them is Atlas, and shame on them for doing so. But let's not pretend that this is Mortal Kombat 11. Let's not pretend that this is like Mass Effect Andromeda or something like that. Like that's not what's going on here. Don't fall for the fucking rage bait. Don't. And I feel more free to say this now than I ever have. You know, people like the Quartering and YouTubers like that who they're known as rage bait for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they are. It's angry clickbait. It's a grift. They are there for the flavor of the week. They say what is going to piss enough people off and get me more clicks. And if they are not telling the truth, they are no better than Jason Schreier. They are no better than Ben Kuchera. That's a fact. Yellow journalism doesn't suddenly become correct just because the person is not a Bernie Sanders voter. And it's a painful lesson I've had to learn myself. The one thing that I'm thankful for is that I have people around me that have the balls to step up and say when I'm doing something wrong. And I'm very thankful for that, because when I was fucking up a couple of days ago, Matt Wenger and that Umbrella guy, they pulled me to the side and they said, man, you've got to rethink what you're saying here. You've got to rethink the way that you're approaching this. You don't know what's really going on here. You have your suspicions, but do they really need to be out in the public? So on and so forth. They slapped me around the head and they said, Micah, we love you, but you made a mistake. Now you got to make amends. So I did. But I got in that much trouble because I put my emotions before the facts, before what I knew to be true. What I'm basically saying, before we even get into any of the questions, question everything. Who benefits? Who benefits? You know? The culture war has become so stupid. And that is... people have called me a culture warrior. People have called me anti-SJW, anti-feminist. I am very much anti-SJW. I am very much against feminism. I don't want those titles anymore. I don't want to be associated with those titles. I hold the belief I don't want to be called that. I don't want to be lumped in with a stereotype. Because I am not like these people. I value truth above everything. Because I truly believe what the scripture says, that it does set you free. But a lot of people out there, man, they're afraid of truth. They really are. They're afraid of what the truth is. They will sit there and they will adopt a narrative because somebody that they like fed it to them. And because it's comfortable. My question to people in the audience who do that is this. What makes that different than a ball pit? What makes that different than a safe space? I don't see a difference. I don't. I think they're exactly the same. The only difference is what you call it. It's meeting the new boss, same as the old boss. And if the culture war continues down this road, where people are adopting this post-truth idea, we're fucked. Society in general is fucked, and we're already in a very bad spot. In regards to the way that we treat one another, in regards to the way that we allow cancel culture to fester as an idea, so on and so forth. We are on the precipice of absolute failure in the West. And people don't really realize how close to the razor's edge we are. The more I've done digging into this for my work at RT, the more I've come to realize there's a real problem in our culture. And this inability and this unwillingness to be truthful, the unwillingness to listen to the counter-argument, the unwillingness to accept when something is debunked, this is a big problem. It's a huge issue. And the reason that I have been so irritable is because I'm sick. But the reason I'm so passionate about it is I understand that this starts at the micro level. If we can't be principled about one little thing, we will be principled about nothing. I don't want to be Doug TeNapel. I don't want to sacrifice one little principle to win an argument, and then next thing I know, I'm not going to have any left. Man. I don't get it, partner. I really don't get it.
I don't either, except the only explanation I have is that people want to be mad. And that people somehow get off on being mad because that means that they're right. But to me, it's just not worth it. It is not worth it to be pissed off all the time, as the saying from American History X goes.
And by the way, in the audience, like I've said before, I love all you guys. But if something's bullshit, I'm going to call it out. You know? And I can't and won't let it just lay. Because I've seen these things fester. And I don't want to ever be in a position where I've got this festering boil that I have to deal with. You know? It's better to just treat the symptom right out of the gate. And be honest about what's going on. Man. Cancel culture and a post-truth society will do more damage to us than the Chinese have done with the coronavirus. Period. Point blank. Yep. The Kung Pao sicken. Alright. I'm done ranting. We have questions to answer. Hatman, what do we got on the docket?
First off, I say let's start with entertainment because, damn it, we need something happy.
Yeah, that would be nice. Am I reading these this week, or are you?
I'll read them, and this might be a little bit better one, but this is another how would you write question. An Angry Green Boss asks, how would you write an ongoing comic series like you are doing with Englewood?
Oh, well, that's basically how am I already doing something.
Yeah, so then how are you writing Englewood?
Well, here are the plans for Englewood in the future. It's not really tenable right now to do monthlies. Not really. It's more tenable to do like quarterly graphic novels.
Mm-hmm.
The plan is this. What I would like to do is twice a year have a bigger campaign of Englewood book whatever, or just have it titled after the arc, or what have you, and have it be like a 66-page book. So you're basically getting three issues in a graphic novel format. And then having a side story book as well that's available for a bigger tier. So basically, sort of like the Spectacular Spider-Man to the Amazing Spider-Man. So you would have Englewood, and then you would have Tales from Englewood. Tales from Englewood is a series that I've been brainstorming for a bit that would basically fill in the backstories of background characters so that you can understand where characters are coming from. So, let's say the next campaign, what the plan is, and this might not play out, we'll have to see what happens. What the plan is to have Englewood the first year. And basically what it does is that ties up the arc that starts with the book that you're all getting hopefully next month. Most likely next month, given the pace that we're working at. If not then probably early May. And that, like I said, once the proof is done and approved by Hatman and I, and Mixam has accepted it, that is when we are starting the 3 Nights, 4 Days campaign. So, and not before. I was originally saying like 95%. That's not a smart idea. Not to mention it gives me more time to work with Preston to get stuff done. He's got another campaign he's launching anyway, so that gives him more time to focus on that. And then when time hits for 3 nights, it's going to be the perfect time, and it's going to light the fucking night sky up. Anyway, so that's the plan for Englewood in the future, is to do book, then side story book, and then have the side story book be probably like 22 pages. It's like a one-off comic. And then what that allows me to do is basically test the waters for the future. If Tales from Englewood, if that tier sells a lot, well, I could do a graphic novel of that. Like there's a ton of different things I could do. So that's where we're going with it, is basically. Now, as for the technical aspects, it really depends on your time frame. I mean, what I like to do is I have a 10-year plan for everything that I do. And one thing that I do and what you'll see with Englewood, is that everything is written like it was going to come out monthly anyway. So, Englewood Book 1 has basically a 12-page issue 0, and then a 24-page issue 1. So, and then it's just lumped together in a 36-page package. The next book will be probably around 66 pages, so that'll be issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, but just in one book. If you're going to go the crowdfunding method, that is the way that I would recommend it. Because people like graphic novels. They are the tops. And this is something a lot of people don't understand and don't know. Every year, the biggest sellers consistently of comic books are not individual issues. It's graphic novels or trade paperbacks. Those are the big sellers. So, and oftentimes it's usually like stories from years upon years ago. So that's what's hot right now. And it will probably be hot for the longest time. So if you're doing 44 to 66 pages, man, that's kind of the right amount of what to do. So that's what I would say is the best thing. If you want to do monthlies, that's something to consider for years down the road. Because on the independent market, graphic novels are a lot smarter. So, hopefully that answers the question.
There we go. All right. Where are we? There we go. Koopa's Revenge Home asks, what do you think of Scenario versus Punisher? Scenario versus Punisher? The only thing separating Dredd from Frank is a badge. Okay, so Judge Dredd versus Punisher? Do you think it has story potential, and how does it play out? That's what I'm gathering from this. This is typed weird.
Dredd versus Punisher's kind of redundant. honestly. And I like Judge Dredd and I like the Punisher. But the thing about Dredd is that he's the Punisher if the Punisher had a badge.
Yeah.
You know, and didn't have his family murdered. But, you know, like, there's a lot of similarity between the two. It would be kind of redundant.
Yeah.
I much preferred, oddly enough, of all the versus Alien and versus Predator, Dredd was the best. It's not even close. Like, and I say this as somebody who actually liked Batman versus Predator, the one that Chuck Dixon wrote. Like, dude, Dredd versus Predator and Dredd versus Aliens were both great. So, yeah, like stuff like that. I like 2000 AD to stay sci-fi. You know, bringing in the Punisher, it doesn't really do much.
There you go. I agree. It doesn't really add much value. Because it's basically just arguing over whether or not you need the law, and that is pretty much literally the Sylvester Stallone Dredd movie right there.
Yep.
And you see how that fucking went.
Why did you judge me?
Yeah. But I mean, I think back to like Daredevil season 2, that rooftop conversation that lasted just about the whole damn episode with him and Punisher, and I'm like, that's what I'm talking about right there. Like, that is a clash of philosophies, like a fundamental clash, and each one was able to hold their own ground pretty well.
Yep.
And then you've got that bit with Frank answering the door to the roof with that dude, and
such a
man,
that episode
that was a really good episode.
Yeah, that episode is literally brilliant. And
It's
John
so brilliantly
Bernthal is probably my
Yes.
favorite Punisher.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
he's so intense as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
And how he's not a bigger star than he is, I will never understand. But
I don't get it either, but no, he is my Frank Castle.
yeah, he's just an awesome dude too, from what I've been told. Like,
It's
like he went on the Joey Diaz podcast, and that's a fun episode, dude. And Bernthal is just so down to earth. Like, but like his intensity just pours through, and the way that he's able to converse with Daredevil, and Charlie Cox was an amazing Daredevil too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He really caught the blind idealism at points of Matt Murdock in a lot of ways, and I love it. That was such a good series.
Man.
So good. Punisher and Daredevil, man, were so good.
Yeah. Buddy of mine, actually, little bit of a sidestep, and then we'll move to the next one. He wanted to get wristbands made, WWFD, for What Would Frank Do?
Yeah.
But then he was like, I really want to get them made now because I just realized that WWFD also stands for Who Would Fucking Die.
Yes, it needs to happen.
So, yeah, either that or like T-shirts where the front is What Would Frank Do and the back is Who Would Fucking Die.
Yeah.
Either or. Let me know if you guys are interested. We might make that happen.
Well, we can't make it happen because it's Marvel's trademark.
We can make it happen because they don't have a trademark on Frank. We just can't put the skull on there.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
It's literally just Frank. It's not Frank Castle, of course.
Yeah, there's a fine line there, but
it's close. But I think we could get away with it. Anyway, let's move along. Potentially big question from Melee Brawler. What are your guys' picks for the next Fighters Pass Volume 2 for Smash?
If they were smart, they need to put in, because who everybody wanted was Dante from Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the first person I would say that they should get.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm trying to think of who hasn't been included yet. A lot of people call for Doom Guy.
I want Doom Guy now.
Doom Guy would be good. I would almost rather have him in Mortal Kombat.
I want Doom Guy just because of all of the fucking Doom and Animal Crossing memes that are out now.
That's true. That would be cool.
I want that.
And not to mention, he has the most obvious final smash ever in the BFG.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I would, if Doomguy was in it, I wouldn't argue. Trying to think of who else.
I'd say put Shantae in there.
Shantae would be a good addition, I think.
I say fuck it, put Crash Bandicoot in there.
Crash wouldn't be too bad. I'm not sure if Sony would let him go.
Well, Sony doesn't have the rights. Activision has the rights to Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, that's right,
now.
they do.
Yep. They probably would.
Yeah, Kodak might let him go. And Rayman would be another really good one, I think.
Rayman would be pretty good. And, I don't think Ubisoft is doing anything with him lately.
Not really. One more. I'm trying to think. I would like to see a Tekken character in there. We got Street Fighter, we got King of Fighters. Throw Tekken in there. Like, Jin Kazama would be good. Obviously, I would like King, because I love King.
Yes.
But at the same time, he's not as popular as Jin or Kazuya or Heihachi.
That's the thing. I don't want any of them. I don't want Heihachi in there. I don't want Jin in there. I don't want... No. If I'm gonna have anyone from Tekken, yeah, it'd be like King or someone like Paul Phoenix.
Oh, Paul Phoenix would be terrible because all of his moves would be Death Fist. But no, King would be good though because you could also have one of his skins be Armor King.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And he is a very popular
style would
character.
Be so unique too. Like you could literally have like a crouching fighting style for it.
Yeah, like,
that would be so cool.
You know, you could have another grappler. You could, like, the trailer could be him fighting Incineroar, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential there. And that's the thing about King. King is a super popular character. He's one of the best characters in Tekken 7. People love him, but he never gets the credit that he really deserves or ever... You never really see the potential of him. Like... I always thought that his story was much more interesting.
It is. Like, well, his and Armor King's, to be perfectly fucking honest with you. Like, that is so much more interesting than the story of the fucking Mishima family.
Well, and here's the weird thing about it. It's oddly less ridiculous.
It is.
Because it's actually not hard to follow. The Mishimas...
No.
Are fucking weird because they've got the devil gene and this guy can have it and this guy doesn't have it and this is
fucking
why and this
being thrown into volcanoes and off of mountains and shit
and somehow being reconstituted. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And
it's
then,
weird.
And then you throw fucking June in there and then it just gets even fucking weirder.
And then they introduced Kazuya's mom and it's like, oh come on. Meanwhile, with the Kings, it's pretty straightforward. You know, you have the first king, who was the second place guy in the first two tournaments. The only person he could not beat was Kazuya. And he gets killed by Ogre. So the second king enters the third King of the Iron Fist tournament, doesn't do as well, but gets trained to the point where he becomes the equal of the first king.
Well, trained by Armor King.
Yeah, trained by Armor King. Then Armor King, his health starts to fail him, and then he's killed by Craig Marduk in 4. Well, then you got that revenge plotline to the point where King beats the shit out of Marduk, beats him into a coma, but decides not to kill him. But when he does that, suddenly another Armor King shows up. And this Armor King attacks King. And you later find out it's the original Armor King's twin brother. But Armor King, or normal King and Marduk have been able to patch things up. But now he's got the brother of his mentor at odds with him. So now you've got this sort of situation where King has the brother of his mentor on one hand, and then he has this friend that he has on the other hand that he brought back to the light, you know, on the other side. And he's kind of stuck in the middle, not sure what to do. And in the middle of all of this, he has to fight in the King of Iron Fist to make sure that the orphans of his orphanage are well taken care of.
Yeah.
And there's so much conflict there, and it's an easier to follow story, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's better, but I would actually say it's better written.
I'd say so too, and it's way more emotional too. Like
Yeah.
it's really fucking easy to identify with like a masked wrestler who is entering the King of Iron Fist tournament to help his orphanage.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he gets fucking killed doing it.
Yeah.
And then his fucking rival ends up like training the guy who takes up his fucking identity. Like that's like a series of fucking. That's like a Rocky movie.
It really is.
It's like the Rocky movie.
It's Lucha Rocky.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it, because Marduk is almost not really his Apollo Creed, more like his Ivan Drago.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And,
oh no, Armor King is definitely the Apollo Creed.
Yeah. So the crazy thing about all of it is like Armor King is the only, like, in Tekken, if you think about the cast of characters, he's the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody else in Tekken who has as pure of motivation as King does. There's none.
No.
None of them. Everybody else has an agenda or has been evil at some point. King never has been. He has been the big good guy. He's the Paragon. He is Leopard Superman, basically. You know,
he's Jaguar. He's Jaguar.
Jaguar. Sorry about it. But yeah, not to mention he's just so fucking badass.
Yes. Yes. I love the fucking lucha fighting style, man. I love that shit.
And the crazy thing about it is that it's like, oh, you can turn into Satan? I don't care. I'm going to beat you with lucha. I'm going to whoop your ass. You know, I'm going to drill you into the fucking canvas with Misawa's finisher, not the Burning Hammer, the Emerald Fusion. You know, it's like, he's so fucking cool. I love the fact that he only speaks in Jaguar roars, and everybody knows what he's saying.
Know, right?
But like, there's some legit great story with him. I mean, in Tekken 5, like his quest to take down Marduk again. Like, there's a point where he goes to a dark place where even because one of the family friends is the Chang family, so Julia Chang comes up and tries to stop him from getting revenge on Marduk because it's taking him to a dark place. He ends up beating the shit out of Julia too. Like there's a crazy amount of conflict. There's a great amount of conflict there, to be honest with you. And yeah, I would love to. The King should be in Smash. He should be. Like, he would be so fun to play. And then his final Smash, I mean, it would basically be the fucking Death Cradle. He just rolling cradles the fuck out of you, and then you just launch out of the arena, you know. But yeah, man, but yeah, King for Smash.
Yes,
I think that's
King for Smash.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good list.
That's the title of this episode, King for Smash.
Yes, he's so cool, man. Not to mention, you would have one of my dream fights: King versus Terry Bogard. It's never happened. So that would be the fight of the big goods, you know, because Terry is about as much of a good guy as you can get. So is King. Now I really want King of Fighters versus Tekken. That would be dope. Anyway, what's the next question? I've been ranting too much today.
Yeah. It's another how would you write? Brian Gilmartin asks, how would you write a monster story set in the modern day where the monsters aren't man-made bioweapons? Weren't we kind of talking about this with the...
Well, they are or they are not man-made bioweapons?
They are not man-made bioweapons.
Project Lazarus. That's all I have to say. There you go. That's another stay tuned.
Well, let's go with like a more traditional, like universal monsters, like the idea that I was talking about with like a Castlevania set in modern day. where I thought fucking Lords of Shadow was going to go,
Well, Lords
or
of
Lords of
Shadow
Shadow
2
Two was
does.
going to go. Well, sort of, but it's not fleshed out enough. I think. But like, say something like that, or like the true Dark Universe. If the Dark Universe actually fucking worked.
Actually, no. A really good example would be Vampire the Masquerade.
Ooh, there you go.
And that would be how I would do it. You know, I think that they really have a lock on that sort of thing. Or Anne Rice's vampire novels is a really good example too. I'm a big fan. Or really, you would end up doing just horror stuff. You know, like Hereditary is a really good example of that. Hereditary is brilliant. You know, did you ever end up watching it?
No, I've still got that and The Witch queued up.
Oh, The Witch is so good.
When I can finally stay home, because ironically enough, I've not been able to stay home. I've been trying to fix stuff at work during the downtime.
Yeah,
but
The Witch, Hereditary, and The Autopsy of Jane Doe. All three of those are the best horror movies I've seen probably in the last decade.
Nice.
And Autopsy of Jane Doe is on Netflix, actually. So,
oh, cool. Okay.
Well, all three of those are on streaming services. So,
well, I've got The Witch and Hereditary, because there was iTunes was doing like a twofer around Halloween.
Oh, nice.
And you could get both those movies for $10. I'm like, fuck it, I'm down.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, so for those of you who are watching at home or listening, basically, you can get Hereditary on Amazon, and then The Witch and The Autopsy of Jane Doe are both on Netflix.
I think The Witch is also on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken.
I checked.
It's not? Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, like that's sort of what you would end up with.
Yeah, but I'd love to see like the Dark Universe like truly fulfilled, and apparently they're going to try again, because Invisible Man was actually really well received.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that on demand.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it once it hits on demand. But yeah, I'd love to, man. I'd love to see. I don't remember if we talked about this several months back, but like a Universal Monsters series with the Wolfman as the protagonist, because he was objectively the good guy in the original series.
That would be interesting.
I'd love to see something like that. Like it's treated as a disease, not something really horrifying. It's horrifying for people who don't understand it, but you have sympathy for everyone who's afflicted.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Anyway, oh god, a lot of how would you write questions again.
Yeah.
But I do like this one. Ugly Media asks, how would you write Squirrel Girl in a way that makes her entertaining and would make people want to read her? And no, you can't just kill her off.
Oh, I wouldn't. She can be genuinely funny. And that's how I write her. It'd just be a comedy series.
Squirrel Girl and Deadpool team up?
No. Because if I was writing...
Too obvious?
Yeah, if I was writing Deadpool, it would be... I want to write Deadpool like John Wick with a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
You know? With Squirrel Girl, man, I would probably do just a straight-up comedy sketch, like the type of humor that you see in Dumb and Dumber, honestly.
I would do sort of a buddy cop thing with Squirrel Girl and Howard the Duck.
That would be a good one too. Be a good miniseries.
That could get really, really stupid, but I think the only way you could really make it work is by like a buddy cop thing.
Yeah,
or a cop comedy, almost like the 21 Jump Street movies.
Yeah, that would actually be really, really good. Yeah, I think that pretty well answers that.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Audis Whisperer asks, opinion on the Sony ponies being triggered by Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC. Oh God!
The video that you saw on Twitter was fake.
So it's not coming to PC.
No, it is coming to PC. But
No.
the Twitter that people saw on the video that people saw on Twitter, where the dude supposedly broke all his shit because of the announcement, not real. It was a hoax. And don't worry, I fell for it too. But
Are there people actually getting mad at this though?
there are, but it's not as big of a deal as some would think. I really don't care.
I think if you're getting mad at more people being able to play a good game, you're an asshole.
Yeah, not the console war's dead at this point. Like, it's not even a
Yeah.
thing anymore.
Yeah, like I get it, like console exclusives and whatnot, but come the fuck on.
We're at a
There's
point in
no
time
No,
where more and more people can afford all the options.
yeah, I have all of them. I've had all of them for the last couple of generations now. Like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, same here. You know, or at least the ones that I'm interested in.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to as much as I am not really looking for, just after the specs came out, I'm not as hyped about the PS5.
Yeah.
But the Series X looks like a damn powerhouse.
Oh yeah.
I am definitely looking forward to that shit. But I'm still going to get everything. Like I'm still going to have them both because, god damn it, I have to be able to play, you know, whatever God of War sequel that Sony inevitably puts out, and I have to be able to play my fucking Halos.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Simple as that.
Yeah, and for me, the big question is going to be backwards compatibility. If there's backwards compatibility in the PS5, I'm buying it. Because I would like an excuse to not have my PS3 anymore. You know? And if I could play all generations of PlayStation on that console, oh, I'm sold. Because I still have physical copies of a bunch of shit. So, but yeah, that's the console war's dead. Like, a lot of that is just people being stupid. I really have no opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's dumb. Getting mad at that is dumb.
Yeah.
Alpha Incel asks, do you think these films being delayed due to the C virus is just a cover due to them potentially sucking? Oh god, that's right, this is the C virus. It's starting in China too, oh my god.
Fuck you, Leon. Seriously.
Oh god, I never made that connection. I feel like a fucking dumbass.
By the way, Tug, if you're listening, the joke I made when we were talking about that's what I mean. It's a Resident Evil 6 reference. I don't think he got it when I said it. And I'm like, oh shit, he's probably not doing the joke. But,
oh my god, fucking C virus.
I know, right. The fact it's called the C virus, I'm like, oh no! What the fuck?
So, anyway, the only one that I think would potentially suck that got delayed was No Time to Die.
Yes, because people the test audiences apparently were not good.
Yeah, the rumor mill says that the test audiences fucking hated it, and this was, keep in mind too, this was after all the hubbub over bringing in Phoebe Waller-Bridge to rewrite the script to allegedly, mind you, like, I'm not trying to rage bait here, allegedly add more of a feminist slant to it.
Yeah. Which, if true, is obviously going to be a disaster.
Yeah, if true, that does line up with test audiences reacting as negatively because, as we've seen time and time again, people don't go to the movies to listen to a fucking sermon. That's why all those female-led remakes, reboots, whatever, the bullshit agenda pushing failed. They've all failed. So if you put in a James Bond movie, nonetheless, where the tone completely would conflict, then yeah, it makes sense. But again, we don't know for sure, so we can't say with any sort of certainty that this is what happened. It could just be that the movie fucking sucked because somebody wrote a bad script, or the story wasn't there, or fucking it did more of what Spectre did, and Spectre wasn't that great of a fucking movie.
Or
and it should have been.
Solace.
Oh god, let's not talk about Quantum of Solace. But I'm mad about Spectre, man. Like that could have been such a good fucking movie because they were going to bring it back to classic fucking Bond, but nope. Skyfall just did it way better.
Pretty much. Yeah, Skyfall was
Yeah.
awesome. But
But no, I think that's the only one that's actually got a cover for sucking. I think all the other ones that have been pushed back.
Black Widow actually does look like a pretty good, decent action
Black
movie.
Widow, I think is has a whole lot of fucking potential. I think it's going to be really really good, and I hate that they did push that back. Mulan, I think was going to be a disaster,
Yeah.
but I think also it was going to do gangbusters in China because fucking China.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of what else got pushed back. Fast 9 getting pushed back a whole fucking year is weird. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that movie did have a lot of problems.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
Yeah.
they're having a hard time really coming up with ideas for that at this
Yeah.
point. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like the big one is obviously No Time to Die.
Yeah. Okay, and before anyone says anything about New Mutants, I think New Mutants was ready to go.
Yeah.
I think it was ready to go, and it got delayed just because it was an unfortunate fucking coincidence.
Pretty much. I agree with that completely. But yeah, with No Time to Die though, that's the one I'm bummed about in regards to how bad it is likely going to be. Because I feel like Daniel Craig as James Bond is really good. But the movies that have surrounded him have been hit or miss.
He's had two of the best, and I don't want to say two of the worst, maybe one of the worst, because
Two of the
Quantum of
most
Solace was
forgettable.
not that. Yes, I will meet you there. Yes. So he's a great fucking Bond. It's just you have to write him well.
He has the
Just
same
like-
cold nature and charm that Sean Connery did.
Yes. It's just like Pierce Brosnan. Pierce Brosnan was a perfectly good fucking James Bond.
Yeah.
Goldeneye, still one of the best Bond movies.
Oh, yeah.
But all the other ones were just so fucking bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't his problem. Not at all. Really, I think all the Bond actors were good. George Lazenby even was really not that bad.
No. He
But I
had his
think all
moments.
the actors were really good.
But yeah, but especially with Craig though, like he was such a return to form. Because he was colder than Pierce Brosnan was, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that
He wasn't
felt
a
like
wisecracker.
yeah, he didn't come across like a superhero. You know,
No.
which Brosnan did at points. You know, this one was Bond a lot more grounded and just guys, Casino Royale is so fucking good.
Casino Royale, I will say it. I think Casino Royale is the best of all the Bond movies. I know Goldfinger is up there for a lot of y'all, but I think Casino Royale edges it out.
I would say that it's hard for me to pick between Casino Royale and Goldfinger.
Yeah, I love Goldfinger. One of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
But I think Casino Royale really really edges it out.
Yeah, it really does. Like or at least, oh, man, it's so hard to
In
pick.
a lot of ways, it really does. But
There's just so many elements to that that story. Like man, but it is the cold killer nature of Daniel Craig's Bond that really sells that movie because the fact that Vesper Lind was able to make him fall in love is something that you hadn't seen done with Bond before, and the only actress who could honestly have pulled it off was Eva Green. She is so fucking good at what she does.
Played that part brilliantly. I mean, like, fucking, yeah. Eva Green, Mads Mikkelsen, of course, is
Mads is so good of a villain.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's such a great cast.
And this was before Mads like really, really took off too. Like that's
before
what makes
Hannibal.
it so good. Yes.
I really want to rewatch Hannibal. Hannibal was great.
God, I hate they already used him up in the MCU. I wish he could be Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, he should be.
God.
But I'm trying to think here. Yeah, we might as well move on to the next question because I think we
Yeah,
kind of
let's
answered
move on because we will go off into a tangent.
Oh yeah.
All right. Supreme Atheist Intellect asks thoughts on Reset Era being exposed on Twitter on their influence in gaming. I think we all knew this already. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was obvious even when they were on fucking NeoGAF because they had already flared, industry insiders and journalists and whatnot. We knew what they did. We knew all their activity.
Yep.
We knew. We've always known. It's one of those like open secrets, really. But I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, why people are so shocked about it, and then why some of the journos were like, "No, you're just being conspiracy theory." It's fucking nonsense.
Yeah, like we know.
Yeah.
And that we can't change anything about it. That's something that needs to be said. People are going to post where they want to post.
It's part of that clique.
Yeah, exactly. It's Sophia's article on it. I think was stuff that we already knew, but it has, and I feel bad for her because she gets shit on Twitter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, none of them can produce a name.
Yeah.
None of them will produce a name of somebody that is oriented, even libertarian.
Not even just libertarian, just anyone who is a moderate.
Yeah.
No one is a moderate.
One response even was, "I can't out one of my colleagues." I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, that's not words you want to hear. So it's just one of those things where it's an open secret, but it's one of the unfortunate things about all of this. The key is going to be, and this is something that a lot of people don't, even Gamergate doesn't even fucking understand, the people who are still in it, is that the key is the press. If you can lessen the influence of the press on Western gaming, things will improve. That's it. Period. Point blank.
Yep. There you go. All right. Kel Bach asks if we played Dawn of War, any of the games, and if so, which game/expansion do you prefer?
2.
Nope.
I like 2.
Haven't touched Dawn of War at all.
Yep. I like Dawn of War 2, but I never finished it. That's basically it.
There you go. Ultimate Agent says, Micah, as I said in the Facebook DM, my Necromancer story has the protagonist allying with a fallen angel who's trying to reform. Your thoughts?
Could work. That's really all I can say. The thing about concepts is that unless somebody is revulsed by the idea, you could probably make it work if you're a good enough writer. But it's that second part that is always the tough part. So, that would be my answer.
All right. So, let's go to politics. A little bit of breaking news, too. California, statewide stay-at-home order.
Oh, good lord.
So, you folks in California, good luck. Stay safe. Stay
and we are endlessly sorry that your state is run by such an incompetent boob.
Yeah, we're sorry that you live under communist rule.
Yeah. The People's Republic of California.
Yeah. All right, so on to politics then. Audis Whisperer asks thoughts on the UK government insisting on schools staying open despite virus fears.
They're wanting to go for a herd immunity thing.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's dumb.
Yeah, it has a big potential to fail. So, yeah, that's kind of all I really have to say about it.
Yep. Alpha Incel asks, who is the most overrated scientist? Interesting.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm
not
Bill
kidding.
Nye, the science guy.
Well, he's not an actual scientist, but
no,
Neil deGrasse Tyson easily.
Yeah, I would say so too. That's kind of kind of simple. I think it says more about, being more in the media, like more the face of science than actually doing so. Like that's the thing. Like you think of someone like Stephen Hawking, for example.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the media very often, and when he was, it was because he had something as far as researcher or theory, or he had died. But yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson definitely takes that. Even got a meme of him. Foxhelm asks something interesting. What would happen if Bernie and Sanders both died before April?
You mean Bernie and Biden?
Bernie and Biden. This is written weird again. What if they both died? The DNC would effectively get to choose who the nominee is at the convention. All the delegates would choose.
That's pretty much the long and short of it.
Yeah,
it would certainly be a weird situation.
God forbid, to be perfectly honest, God forbid anything happened to them to cause any more fucking chaos. But yeah, then they would pick, and God only knows who they would pick in such a scenario. I swear to God.
Hillary Clinton!
If Hillary Clinton ends up being on the ticket again, just fucking end it. End the race. Call it for Trump already.
Maybe that's the plan.
They want to lose again?
Bernie and Biden are going to both commit suicide by gunshot to the back of the head. That would be terrible.
Oh, my Lord. Anyway, John Whitesell asked, what are the odds of coronavirus causing a civil war in China, Iran, or the U.S.? Well, there wouldn't be a civil war in China because nobody except for the military has guns. So the people would just get squashed.
Yep.
Iran, I believe, is like about the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S., it depends on how bad shit would be and whether or not the people would... It'd be more of like an overthrow the government sort of thing. Like, if the government fucked up the response and, like, the actual mortality rate was way higher, then maybe you'd see people trying to get the bureaucrats out of power and basically just overthrow the government. But I don't think it would come to that unless those conditions were satisfied. And we're talking, like, food shortages and everything, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would have to be a total... It would have to be basically, like, in end of society scenario. At the very least, end of civilized society. So, let's go ahead and move on then. Leonardo Juan asks, why do feminists try to make things ugly and degenerate?
Can I kind of say I'm getting a little tired of using the word degenerate. It's becoming cringe. Everything that like the groypers try to poach becomes cringe, like instantly.
God damn it! See, that's the thing.
This is our rule. This. Hold on, real quick. This is the declaration of Micah and the Hatman. The sleeveless saint declares that everything groyper is cringe.
Yeah,
everything. It is not to be taken seriously. It is not to be. It deserves only ridicule and the general look of who farted anytime that a groyper enters the room, because they smell like moldy cheese and disappointed parents.
They smell like moldy cheese and disappointed parents, and unwashed ass.
Yes, absolutely. No, and when they breathe, they smell like they just blew a cat boy because they probably just did. You know it's true.
Smells like cat litter and cock.
Pretty much. Here's my question:
Anyway.
Did Nick Fuentes really enjoy the movie Cats?
He was the one. He was the one who wanted the butthole cut.
Oh man.
Oh Jesus Christ! We have fun here.
Yes, we
have fun
do.
here. But see, that's the thing. Like degenerates, like that's what my immediate friend group. That's what we call ourselves, the degenerates, because we're fucking stupid. Like it's just for stupidity, not because we're a bunch of we are the ass end of society. Not like that. Like, come on, fucking hell. But anyway,
you kind of gotta lean into things. Like,
yeah,
people call me an edgelord. I'm like, I headbang while playing Doom. No fucking duh.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
There's a stream on Twitch where I was playing Doom. It might still be up. Where I literally was only talking in metal growls for at least 45 minutes.
Oh my fucking god.
Like, seriously. I am perfectly fine with being one thick, edgy boy.
I played Doom so much, I learned how to speak chainsaw.
Pretty much, man. No, like, that was... It's funny you say that. One joke that I actually had while we were playing the game just last night was, let me sing you the song of my people, and then I cut a guy in half with a chainsaw.
Yep, that'll do it.
My love language in Doom is hate. But that's the fun. I like it. I like being metal as fuck. It's
we are
fun.
currently experiencing temporary incoherent rage.
Yes.
Oh man! But to answer the question, why do feminists try to make things ugly and degenerate? Projection.
Yeah, pretty much.
Projection.
A lot of them are freaks.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You get a feminist talking about sex, they are freaks. You think that they're like prudes? That's only an outside thing. They are freaks.
Yeah.
I met a girl once that I worked with that was basically your stereotypical third wave feminist. I don't know how we got along. We still get along. But, and our beliefs couldn't be any more different. She's a hardcore atheist, I'm a hardcore Christian, so on and so forth. And, like, we would talk about our love lives, and she was into freaky, weird stuff. And I'm like, but you act like such a prude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just basically what it is. It's projection.
I've noticed that the women who talk about objectification and male gaze and shit tend to be into voyeurism.
Oh yes, that they is.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your dating tip from Micah and the Hatman. If you're into kinky shit, find somebody to hate fuck, basically.
We need to be careful with that because people are going to start calling us the interspecies reviewers of...
Interspecies reviewers!
Somebody's going to parody that now and have you and I in there.
Oh my god, no. I actually do not endorse hate fucking in any capacity.
Me neither. Not worth doing. Trust me.
No. I've seen that end terribly for too many people.
Let me just say this right now. If you are a porn watcher, part of the reason I encourage people to stop is it legitimately does give you the wrong impression of what sex is like. It's a lot more awkward. You will laugh a lot more. That's one thing I've always found interesting about it. And it's actually much better when you slow the pace down and are more passionate than if you're just trying to hump each other's brains out.
Yes.
So.
And for God's sake, don't do it in a fucking car.
Yeah, and wash your ass.
Yes. God damn it. Don't be a groiper. Wash your ass.
That's for both genders.
Yeah, wash your ass and don't stick any cats in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, what's the next question?
Last one, actually, from the Supreme Atheist Intellect.
Oh, I thought that you were about to say it was from not the last one, and I'm like, oh, we probably have like
no.
12 more questions. Okay, the very last question. What is it?
Yeah, Supreme Atheist Intellect. That name sounds like a supervillain somehow.
I know, right?
Opinion on the two Swedish midwives denied jobs due to refusing to perform abortions and losing their legal action in the Court of Human Rights? What?
That's bullshit.
I have not heard of that before, but I want more details on that, and also, that's fucked.
We need to import them to America.
Yeah,
we need to give those ladies some freedom.
They need some goddamn freedom. We need to liberate the fuck out of them.
Yeah. Let's take over Sweden.
Sweden, yes.
I will have a harem of blondes, so I will always be kind of meh about the whole situation. I'm gonna buy a bunch of hair dye and make them all dye their hair red. But what's the big hair dye seller in the U.S.? I always forget the name. Is it Maybelline?
Maybe I don't know. I don't pay attention to.
There's a Maybelline stock meeting where all of a sudden that there's a giant uptick in sales in Sweden, but it's all for red hair dye. Like, what happened? Well, this thick dude from America came and took the country over. He established a harem for himself, but he doesn't like blondes. Oh. I will become Careless Rex. Is it just me, or do I threaten to take over a lot of countries? Where am I at now with this? It's definitely the German side of me coming through.
So basically, never give Micah any sort of military power, because he will turn Risk into an IRL game.
Yes. Oh God, it would be amazing. I'm trying to. What are all the countries that I've threatened to take over at this point?
Canada.
Yeah, Canada's one that I've probably threatened the most.
The UK.
The UK a few times.
Venezuela.
I took over. we were gonna buy Venezuela.
Yes, we were gonna buy Venezuela.
What else was there?
I want to say a couple of times we talked about taking over Mexico.
Did we?
I think it was literally just a couple of times. Certainly not as often as like buying Venezuela, for example.
Yeah, I think I would just like section off Cancun.
I think we talked about taking over Australia and just turning it back into a prison colony. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think that's it.
No, I feel like we're missing one.
Fuck.
France.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah.
Remove baguette.
Yeah.
That's right. Remove baguette.
Yeah, because I remember saying something about I was gonna basically come over there with a bunch of American soldiers and just monkey stomp the shit out of the whole country. I'd be like, just have a giant meeting with all of France in the middle of Paris, surrounded by Marines, going, "All right, this bullshit stops right now."
Oh my God, there you go.
We're giving you some goddamn freedom.
Yep. Y'all talk about remove kebab. How about remove baguette?
Exactly.
Oh my God!
I think in another one, in another stream, I said that I would give France to the Serbians.
Shit.
That'd be hilarious.
Now there is one more, very obviously, that we have to take. We must take Jerusalem.
But Jerusalem's already kind of taken.
But East Jerusalem.
Yeah.
It's not a united Jerusalem, also Deus fucking Volt.
Yes, there is that. And then after that, we're going into the West Bank, and we're gonna impose a one-state solution because Palestine is a terror state.
And then after that, we're going to march on Istanbul, and we're going to make it Constantinople again.
Yes, we are.
Why they changed it, I can't say.
And we're going to put Erdogan on a donkey and just parade him around the city.
Yep. Fuck him.
Definitely. But yeah, God, you give me military power, I might own half the world tomorrow.
Yeah. Basically, what we're saying is don't fucking play Risk with us because we will get delusions of grandeur.
Yes. We... Immediately, Hatman and I are forming an alliance and you're dead. We'll let you have Australia just to fuck with you.
Just rename Australia Roofuckerstan. That is what I would do.
We would have to have a spider substitution in Australia though. Yeah. Taking all those funnel webs and just killing them all off. Those things are fucking frightening.
Yeah. Just flamethrowers. Arm everybody with flamethrowers.
Yes.
It's the only way to be sure.
Oh, goodness.
Well, that's it.
That is it. I'm surprised that that's it, but then again, we've probably been recording a lot more than I realize. Because these conversations tend to go faster than I count. Oh, big time. An hour and 16 minutes.
Yep. There we go.
Though that means that my rant wasn't as long as I thought it was. I felt like I went on for a half hour. Or maybe I did and I just don't realize it.
Don't quite think you made it that far.
Yeah. It was a mighty rant, though. I really need to get that off my chest very badly.
There you go.
Oh, God. What a week. This week kind of sucked. Aside from being sick, priority in the newsroom is coronavirus. I'm an entertainment guy. I don't give a fuck as long as I'm not sick. And they're like, well, what do you want to report on? I'm like, well, first off, I'm an op-ed guy. Second, I've got all these other articles that I've already written. It's like, are we going to use them? And probably not till next week. Fuck! Meaning that I need to get all of my Doom Eternal out over the weekend. Because, for God's sake, next week I'm going to have no fucking time for it.
And I don't know if I'm going to get it on time because the fucking Amazon's delaying all their shipping.
Yeah, I've got it pre-downloaded.
Yeah, lucky you. See, I like physical media.
Well, for PC, it's not really optimal to do so anymore.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you're going to get it on console, I can understand.
Yeah.
But,
because I'm one of those people.
But yeah, what was I going to say? My brain just kind of went... Sabrina Nicole on a treadmill again, man. But,
newsroom is coronavirus. It makes everything depressing.
Yeah. Man, fuck the coronavirus. Seriously.
Yeah.
Alright. We're going to go ahead and take off. I think that we've ranted enough for one day. I'm going to go try to get some sleep before work tonight. And, because I got a pretty good article that they're going to be running over the weekend that I got to fix up a little bit. And then once that's done, I think I'm pretty much done for the day. But it needs a lot of revision. So, alright. Well, Hatman, any final words?
Nope. I'm going to go and get some Rice Krispie treats.
That sounds delicious. Homemade or in the box?
I had homemade yesterday. Today they're just in the box. The M&M Minis Rice Krispie treats.
That's partially less delicious.
It is, but with less green food coloring for St. Patrick's Day.
No, well, there you go. Alrighty, folks. We really appreciate you watching. Of course, thumbs up the video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you can always get notified of these videos. Because from what I've noticed on Micah and the Hatman, our notifications actually are going through. So, that's always nice.
Yes.
Alright, folks. We're going to go ahead and take off, though. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, reminding you once again to wash your damn hands.
Yes, we will see you guys for the podcast. Until then, Deus Volt.
Deus Volt.